Maybe I'm an empath and I feel so much because I can tell when someone's suffering. Or maybe I'm a loser with too much time on my hands, but either way, it's something I can do. I feel good about this. Hello, and welcome to another episode of I Feel Good About This Pod. This is episode 11. And just a little FYI, I am filming solo. I usually have our amazing producer, James, sitting behind the camera telling me, be funnier, be interesting. And so I don't have any of that this week because I am recovering from an illness. You may be able to hear it a little bit in my voice. He did not want to be in an enclosed room with me, which I get, I understand. He barely likes it when I'm healthy. So here we are alone. Let's hope I keep it reined in. Let's hope I keep it interesting. Let's hope I get to the point without James. I will be thinking about him in my ear. So I hope this goes well and I hope you enjoy episode 11. There's gonna be a lot of sick content because that's kind of where my week was at. So if you're into that, let's get into it. Okay, we are kicking it off with our first segment. I feel good about this week. And the first I feel good about this is actually based in the fact that I have been homesick watching a lot of TV, although, like, let's be honest, that's sort of my reality anyways. I'm unemployed, so I stay at home and watch TV because it's free. Well, it's not actually free. So we have to pay for all these fucking streaming services, but whatever, I digress. This is like we're just putting together like a whole new cable situation. And like you used to be able to pay $10 a month for all of these incredible shows, and now it's like I have to pay like $70 a month for like all different kinds of streaming services. Anyways, that is a horse of a different color. We're not talking about that now. What we're talking about is K dramas, which if you're new here, I am a big fan of K dramas, which is another way of saying Korean dramas. It's a genre of television that is, television made in Korea, and they have a very specific formula, you could say. Although they aren't formulaic, it's all different genres, really. But like, it's a standard 16 episode situation. It's usually one season. It's very rare if they make a season two. In-depth character studies for sure, because each episode can be anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. So they are all engrossing and all encompassing, and I've been watching them for about 5 or 6 years almost exclusively. And one of the things that I have noticed from the many K dramas I've watched is, and I feel great about this, by the way, no matter what, there's always a scenario where someone in a K drama is on the verge of shitting their pants. Not only do I love that because I have the maturity of a 12-year-old boy, that's sort of where I'm at comedy wise. Love a poop joke, love a fart joke, love seeing someone struggle. We can all relate to it. I think it's a really good way to normalize the fact that everybody poops. And yes, this is I feel good about this pod. So we are going to be talking about shitting because literally I can't get through an episode without talking about shitting, and I'm fine with that. We need to normalize this. And I think it's so fucking funny, first of all, because literally there's no one in the world who can't relate to that feeling of almost shitting your pants as an adult. And it's like, I've seen it used as a meet cute. Like, in the I think it's the first episode of a K drama called King the Land, where literally she meets her love interest because she works at a hotel and he's staying. He also is like, I think he's like the owner of like a bunch of hotels. And he's staying at this room in the hotel, and she like is literally about to shit her pants and has to run into his hotel room and shit in his toilet, and like that's how they meet. It's a meet cute. Like, that's hilarious, first of all. And I also think it's like this really taboo thing that like is really funny, but some people really don't want to be exposed to it. And I feel like Korea does a really good job of normalizing poop conversations. Like, it's not just, and I also think it's like across gender lines too, because It's not just like the boys who are pooping their pants, which I feel like is sort of more of an American thing where like we can take in a joke about a boy pooping his pants or a man pooping his pants, but as soon as it's a woman, it's like, oh my god, that's so gross, how unladylike, how disgusting. It's like, I'm sorry, but we're all animals, and we all have too much dairy sometimes, and we all have to run down the street and make it to our house in time, and we've all had that feeling where it's like you're on the way, you're sweating, you're trying to get to your house before the inevitable happens, and you are so focused, and you have to like slow down your walk and pause and like clench for like 20 to 30 seconds because you're like, I know I can't take another step until I get past this. Otherwise, it is curtains for my shorts. Like, this is not going to be a good situation. And so you clench and you wait till that feeling. And you wait till that feeling passes, and then you make it to your house, and you're putting your key in the door, and all of a sudden that feeling comes again, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Because your body knows when it's about to be at the place where you can relax, and you are so close to that porcelain throne, and you are trying, you can't get the key, and you're struggling, and oh my god, why is the lock sticking today in this moment of all times? And you are absolutely sweating buckets, and you just get the door open, and you just make it, and you throw your bag down, you rip off your pants and sit on the toilet, and sweet release happens. And I will not apologize for A, laughing at that moment because it's really relatable, and B, normalizing it. Because I also am like, when I'm in that situation, I need to like tell someone about it if I'm with a group of people, because like I need someone to also just like be aware of the state that I'm in, so that like if I'm like sweating and I can't talk to them, they understand what's going on. You know what I mean? So I literally like, if I'm ever in that situation, I always like tell my wife immediately. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna shit my pants, and it's like I'm probably not. And thank God, I do want to say I have never done that in my adult life, but I have had a few instances where I was like, this might be the moment. This might be the moment as an adult where I shit my pants. And thanks be to Jeebus or the Lord or whoever is looking out for me, that hasn't happened yet. I want to knock on a bunch of wood just to make sure I don't get in that situation again. And, you know, the unthinkable happens. But I know it's happened to people. I've spoken to people who have had it happen. So let's talk about it. Let's put it in our TV shows and laugh. Let's make it a meet cute. I feel really, really good about talking about shitting our pants. Okay, so the next thing I feel good about this week is a very niche and, let's be honest, useless skill that I have that I feel like I'm so proud of, and most people do not care. But I feel good about the fact that I can tell when I'm watching a sitcom or a TV show and the actor is sick. Like, I feel like I have such a good like detection skill to be like, their voice is lower than normal. Ooh, looks like Elaine Bennis had a cold. She had to take that B12 vitamin shot and make it to set no matter what, because the show must go on. And I don't know why I'm so proud of myself for being able to clock this. It literally serves nothing and no one. And in fact, it's probably like, production does a lot to try to make sure it doesn't sound like this person is sick, whether it's pumping this actor full of vitamins or getting as many throat lozenges in their throat as possible, but can't get one over on me. I'm going to clock it, and I'm going to tell the room, and I'm going to say, listen, Jennifer Aniston, she's got a head cold, and we can all hear it, and now you won't be able to unhear it because I brought it to your attention. And I don't know if there's any possible way to monetize this skill. As you know, if you are a longtime listener of this podcast, I'm trying to find ways to make money as I am currently unemployed. So is there any way that I can use this as a skill? Like, maybe I could make like a fun jokey website where I watch sitcoms and I write down the episode that I predict, and let's be honest, pretty much know when a certain actor is sick. And then people can go to the show, go to that episode, and be like, you know what? She's right. She's right. I can't argue with that. That person sounds sick. And I wouldn't have clocked it because I'm not thinking about that because I'm a normal person. And I don't sit there and watch television shows and wonder if the actor is sick or not. And you know what? Maybe that just means I'm more empathetic than the rest of the world. Maybe I'm an empath and I feel so much because I can tell when someone's suffering. Or maybe I'm a loser with too much time on my hands, but either way, it's something I can do. So, how can I monetize that? You guys let me know. If you have any good ideas, put it in the comments. I would love to hear. We can sort of go in on a business together. Like, I'm willing, more than willing to have a partner in this venture. And if there's any use for this, if anybody would want this for any reason, because your girl's good. And I'll be the first to sort of, look, I can't be humble in this job market. I have to highlight my very marketable skills. And I hope there's a person in the world who sees this and thinks, hmm, I can somehow market a woman who knows when an actor is sick from a 90s sitcom. Now we have reached our second segment called I Don't Feel Good About This week. The first thing I want to share with you, the first thing I don't feel good about this week is I don't get voltage. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that electricity happens. And I understand that it's making all of this run. This podcast is making this podcast run. I mean, we've got lights, we've got a phone, we've got a camera, we've got other a computer that I'm reading my topics off of. I understand that electricity makes things run. And I know what electricity is. I do. That's not up for debate. I understand what electricity is. Do I? I mean, I understand what it powers. But I don't know what voltage is. And by the way, I won't be doing any further research into it, but I always think about like if I'm traveling somewhere and it's like, oh, I have to, maybe it's out of the country and you have to buy a converter and you have to make sure that like the voltage in your blow dryer, although I'm not bringing a blow dryer if I'm going, whatever, that's another story, but like maybe you bring a curling iron or a hair dryer or whatever. And it's like, you have to figure out some sort of voltage conversion so that you don't burn down the hotel, maybe, or you don't shut off all of the electricity in the hotel you're staying at or the hostel or the Airbnb. And it's like I just like will never understand. I don't know what 220 volts is. I don't know what 450 volts is. I don't know what that means and I don't know how we're supposed to put those together in order to make a decision about whether this is a safe product to use. And I also like I'm sure people will see this and be like, didn't you learn this in school? It's like, yeah, of course I learned it in school. Did I retain it? Absolutely not. Did I ever go back and reteach myself? No, honey. I have things to do. I have podcasts to make. I have conversations to have about whether actors and actresses are sick while they're filming. I don't have time to learn what voltage does. So every time I go and I travel and I plug something into the wall, I am living on a wish and a prayer. I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping that I don't burn down the hotel. I'm hoping that it doesn't shut off the lights for half the hotel. I'm hoping that I can curl my hair. That's really the biggest wish. I would love to be able to curl my hair without incident, but I'm not willing to learn about voltage in order to do it. So I would like for the world to make that easier for me somehow. And I will say, it has been made easier for me in the sense that, like, I have a wife who thinks about those kind of things when we travel, and that's really nice. But, we don't always travel together. There are times where I travel alone, and I think, wonder how this is going to go. And we'll see. Really, I'm flying by the seat of my pants when it comes to voltage, and I'm okay with that because, like, I've reached my 41 years, and it's been pretty much incident free in terms of electrical fires. But I definitely have like trip diffuse, if that's what it's called. It's like when you like plug something and you start using it and then everything turns off. I've done that. And that's such a bummer, you know? So I would like to not learn about more of it. And I don't care. Once again, I'm not asking for advice. I'm not asking for anybody to tell me what voltage is. I just want you to know that I don't get it and I don't like it and I won't be learning it. So I don't feel good about that. So the next thing I don't feel good about this week is pretty obvious. I started talking about it at the top of the show. It's uh being sick. I mean, being sick sucks. We all know that. It's very obvious. You're uncomfortable, you're in pain, everything hurts. There's aches, there's pains, there's fevers, there's sore throats, there's phlegm, there's snot, there's a hacking cough that keeps you and your wife up in the middle of the night. There are cough drops, there's cough medicine, which tastes horrible. It's like you have to drink it. It helps you, but it's like you have to make that like face when you drink it. It's so bad. And like I have not matured past like the level of a kid taking cough medicine. I will wait to the very last minute to take it, even though I know it's gonna make me feel better because it tastes so bad. And I prefer things that taste good. And so it's such a boring slog. You are tired, you're sweaty, you're alone, you're not, it's like you have to keep reminding people that you're sick so that they give you sympathy and attention because they have their own lives, they have kids and jobs and maybe, hobbies. And you have to keep texting people and be like, hey, still sick. This is what's going on with me. This is my phlegm to, cough ratio if you wanted to go ahead and feel bad for me. Because really, the only thing that makes you feel better when you're sick is other people feeling bad for you and giving you attention. And even then, it's sort of a quick shot. It's a sweet release. It's not a longevity thing. You don't it doesn't make you feel better for a long time. It's just a quick shot, so you got to seek it out more. Is this relatable? Is this crazy to other people seek out sympathy when they're sick in the way that I do? I know that people say that men are like such babies when they're sick and so pathetic, and I was like, I can't do anything. And I know women are like, particularly women who have children and a husband and kids and like run a household, like don't have that opportunity, but like to sort of really lean into their sickness because there's generally carry the mental load and the physical load of the house, but men really get that opportunity to be pathetic and sick. And I will say, I don't experience that. I very much have the opportunity to be sick and pathetic and beg for sympathy. And so I am grateful for that in the sense where I don't have children to take care of when I'm sick. I have a wife who's nice to me when I'm sick. I have friends who will listen to me literally break down every detail of every symptom when I'm feeling sick because they know I need it. So that is the silver lining, but let me tell you, I haven't been sick in a really long time and I'm over it and I want it to be done. And I am getting better, but not quickly enough for me. So yeah, I do not feel good about being sick at all. Okay, here we are. We're at our final segment called I Don't Know How I Feel About This week. And this is one that I've like felt in my bones so long for so long, but really haven't had a platform to talk about. And I don't know how I feel about this because I want to be mysterious because it's inevitably so much hotter. You're like the cool, hot person in the corner who like doesn't really share much about themselves and, is in a cool outfit and is like, just pretty relaxed and cool about everything. And that's hot. Like that is like what I'm attracted to too, is like just like someone who's like chill and cool and like will really only open up to you if you're really close to them. um to me that's so hot and cool and interesting and mysterious, and I would love to be like this, but I have no idea how to do that. And I think sadly for me it's not in the cards. I've spent my 41 years literally oversharing every thought, feeling, and emotion I've ever had with literally anybody who's willing to listen. I'm one of those people where it's like, yeah, I'm going to meet you within the first 20 minutes, and like I'm gonna like let you know how I'm feeling that moment with extreme detail. I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know what your family's like. I want to know where you grew up. I want to know what you do for a job. I want to know where your trauma lies. Like I do want to know that, and I want to share that with you. Like that's just the kind of person that I am. I've never ever been able to keep anything to myself. I'm just an absolute like diarrhea of the mouth type person. So I have no opportunity to be the mysterious cool girl who's like hot and sexy in the corner. I'm usually in the middle of the room shouting and being loud and talking loudly about my own experiences and asking people about their experiences. And so I don't think I'm able to do that. And that makes me feel sad. So I don't know how I feel about that. And it's also like, if I wanted to start doing that, maybe I should not have a podcast on a weekly basis where I literally share every single thing that's on my mind that week without filter. Literally. I mean, I barely edit my thoughts out. It's really just, the editing process is a cough or a misstep or I pronounce a word wrong. Sometimes I just leave that in there too to be authentic. But you know what? I wish I was that cool girl in the background of the parties, smoking a Marlboro Red and a leather jacket, having like an air about me where it's like, did she kill a family member or did she witness something horrible and it's made her go internal? And she's now just like a collection of interesting stories that she's not going to share with anybody unless she gets really close to that person. Like, could that be me? And I think fundamentally the answer is no, because there's so much of my own personal information out there on the internet. And so I'm never going to be that cool, sexy, mysterious girl. But, I do want to celebrate those people because congratulations on being so good at staying interesting. I think what I do is like, I struggle to stay interesting because all I do is talk. And people are like, oh, it's like that old saying where it's like, if you want to let people know you're a fool, like continue talking. And if you want people to, think you're smart, that I'm butchering this, by the way. You want people to think you're smart, like, don't say anything unless you have really, something really significant to say. And in every version of whatever that saying is, I am the fool who does not stop talking. And, I hope it comes off as endearing, but if it doesn't, that's okay. It's just who I am. And I never claimed not to be a fool. And obviously, I'm a court jester. It's for real. Like, I can never really be the personification of that. I'm just constant chattering all the time. I love to fill silences with noise. It's rare that I sort of let uh, people around me sit in a comfortable silence. I can do it, of course, but I honestly, it's just constant chattering. And, maybe there's some appreciation for the gal like that in the world. And I hope it is. I hope there is, because that's who I am. And that's why this podcast exists. But yeah, I would love to be a mysterious girl, but I just don't know how I feel about that because I think it's too late for me. So, okay, we did it. Here we are, episode 11. We finished. I hope some of that spoke to you. If you didn't want a ton of sick content, I'm sorry, but that's just where I'm at emotionally. If you enjoyed what you saw, hopefully you continue to share this with your friends. We are on our journey to 500 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed and make sure you get a friend to subscribe. We love being able to do this weekly and would love to continue to do it. So definitely want to get in front of more people. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at I Feel Good About This. And in some instances, I feel good about this pod. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, and we are on YouTube, obviously, right here. So we love you. I appreciate you guys being here, and I can't wait to see you next week with more things I feel different ways about. Bye. I feel good about this.